Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And we're going to start the show with some programming announcements because I do that every now and then. So next Monday is Christmas Day. And with the holiday, I may or may not wind up getting an episode out. I will try. Because, well, I don't have to work, but I do have plans that day. And then the following Monday, because 1 week after Christmas, is always New Year's Day, another day where I will try to wind up getting an episode out. I'm actually running a 10K on New Year's Day down in Massachusetts. Will be my first official 10K. Where, like I've run the distance in training runs and whatnot, and I've run much further than a 10K, but I've never actually run in a 10K, and somebody had pointed, hey, here's a thing on New Year's, and I looked, oh yeah, that looks fun. I think I'll do it. So may or may not have episodes the next 2 Mondays. Again, I will do my best to probably record the day before, record the weekend prior, something of that sort. But don't worry, I will still have the Ask Me Anythings every Friday, where you can send those questions using the anonymous, if you want it to be anonymous, contact form online at ama.fppradio.com. That's AMA, as in Ask Me Anything. .fppradio.com. And again, you can ask anything. There's no guarantee that I will provide the answer that you want. I will answer the question, even if it's to say that I'm not answering this question. And I think I've really only ever done that with one question, and that is, what's your middle name? I won't answer that question. And that's how I wound up getting the name The Wombat, because a friend of mine kept asking, what's the W stand for? I'm not telling you. It's Wombat, isn't it? No, yeah, you're now Wombat. So that's how I got the nickname The Wombat. So again, ama.fppradio.com. And since I mentioned the holidays, it's a stressful time for a lot of people. And for some people, it's a depressing time. And a lot of people want to, figure out how to either avoid the stress, avoid the depression, or just cope with it. And, well, I've actually got an article here from the Mayo Clinic of some tips for coping and dealing with the stress and the depression that comes with the holidays. And skipping the introductory paragraphs here, they have 10 things, or 10 different ways that you can cope or deal with the stress and the depression of the holidays. Number 1, they say acknowledge your feelings. If someone close to you has recently died, or you can't be with your loved ones, realize it's normal to feel sadness and grief. It's okay to take some time to cry and express your feelings. You can't force yourself to be happy just because it's the holiday season. And this is something that a lot of people wind up wanting to sort of dismiss. And, well, just, put on a happy face. But if you do that, then that can actually wind up causing more problems down the line by repressing your feelings. So just acknowledge the feelings. That's not to say that you dwell on the feelings. There's a difference between acknowledging and dwelling on. Number 2, reach out. If you feel lonely or isolated, seek out a community. whether it be a group of like-minded friends, a religious organization, social events, etc. They can offer support and companionship. Volunteering your time to help others is also a good way to lift your spirits and broaden your friendships. And I think that's the latter part here of broadening friendships is something that seems to be overlooked by a lot of people when volunteering. A bunch of people just do it because, well, I feel good volunteering, or it winds up, earning me some goodie points in the community or something. But yeah, you can actually wind up, making real friends from various things where you volunteer, or doesn't even have to be volunteering. Go find some kind of social event and you can wind up making new friends that you would not have had otherwise. Number 3 on tips for dealing with holiday stress and depression: be realistic. The holidays don't have to be perfect or just like last year. As families change and grow, traditions and rituals can also change and grow as well. Choose a few to hold on to and be open to creating new ones. For example, if your grown children can't come to your house, find a new way to celebrate together, such as sharing pictures, emails, or videos. And one thing that I've noticed, having moved to New Hampshire, where there's a bunch of people that aren't near family. So, well, we've kind of created our own holidays. There's not created new holidays, but created new holiday traditions, if you will, new holiday gatherings, to where there's various things that are referred to as like Orphans Thanksgiving or Orphans Christmas, to where people that can't be with their family because, well, it takes a lot of time and money to travel across the country, so they'll get together and do potluck stuff. And that's actually one of the things I'm doing next Monday, is attending a Christmas/holiday potluck and Yankee swap. Some people call it White Elephant, some people call it Dirty Santa, but it's fun. And, it gives you that companionship, and it's something new. What are some other ways to avoid stress and depression around the holidays? Stay tuned. I'll tell you. Coming up here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry. Online at fppradio.com.
So what are some ways to deal with holiday stress and depression? Going over a list of 10 things, this specifically from the Mayo Clinic. Plus, I've got a couple of other things that are just related to stress in general. This from the Mayo Clinic related to stress specifically around the holidays. So number 1 is acknowledge your feelings. Number 2, reach out if you're feeling lonely or isolated. Number 3, be realistic. Acknowledge that holidays change. It's not going to always be like it was when you were younger or when your kids were younger, etc. Number 4, set aside differences. try to accept those family members and friends as they are, even if they don't always live up to your expectations. Set aside grievances until a more appropriate time for discussion. And be understanding if others get upset or distressed when something goes awry. Chances are they're feeling the effects of the holiday stress and depression as well. Now, if you celebrate Festivus, then maybe it's appropriate to air the grievances, because airing of grievances is one of the things that makes Festivus Festivus. The other is that aluminum pole that is not adorned by tinsel, because tinsel is distracting. Now, if you never watched Seinfeld, then you probably don't get the reference of Festivus. Number 5, stick to a budget. And this is probably one of the things that causes a lot of people stress around the holidays, is they feel the need, or there's some sort of, pressure from friends and family to spend money. Stick to a budget. Before you go gift and food shopping, decide how much you can afford to spend, then stick to your budget. Don't try to buy happiness with an avalanche of gifts, and don't expect others to wind up buying a bunch of gifts either. Try some alternatives. Donate to a charity in someone's name. Give homemade gifts. Start a family gift exchange. Now, one thing that I remember when I was younger, probably late single-digit age to early double digits, not quite teenager, because there were so many cousins on the one side of my family, instead of all of the aunts and uncles buying something for all of the kids, they would do something to where they would draw a name and wind up, like each aunt and uncle would draw a name and then get something for those specific kids, again, instead of buying something for all of the kids. So you could wind up doing that. Gift swaps are also good, to where you wind up, and that's kind of what the Yankee swap thing is, to where sometimes people will do, sort of like joke gifts. Other times it's actually a good gift. But what you do, if you've never played or you've heard it called something else, I will explain the rules. So everybody that's participating has a gift valued at generally under $10. Sometimes it can go as high as like $20. Now, if somebody spends $12 on a gift, it's nope, you're excluded because you went over the limit. But it's basically to make sure that, there's not one person that brings, here's a $100 prepaid Visa gift card, and everybody else brings, like a box of chocolates or something. So about a $10 limit, and everybody puts the gift in, and then they draw a number out of a hat or a bowl or whatever. Whoever has the highest number picks first. And then they open the gift, and here's what I got. Whoever draws number 2 picks second, again, opens the gift, and then they can decide, do I want this gift, or do I want to trade it for number 1? Number 3 picks, and then they can trade from anybody previous. Goes on like that until everybody has picked a gift. And then a lot of the rules allow for the person that was number 1 to then make one final trade for anything, because they were the first person. They didn't have the option of trading with anybody. So then they get to make one final decision of, do I keep what I had or trade it for any of the other things? So, do something kind of like that. And it's all in good fun, and it's good-hearted. And again, some of the gifts are kind of joke gifts. Other ones are things that, people might actually want. I was at one last Tuesday for a running club, and I forget what I had opened, but it was like, yeah, I don't want this. Give me that Bailey's sampler pack. And then somebody opened up a box of vitamin C, and they were like, yeah, I don't want this box of vitamin C. I want the Bailey's. I was like, all right, well, I needed to buy some vitamin C anyway. So I was actually happy with either thing, but, hey, now I just saved money, didn't have to go buy some vitamin C. Again, the family gift exchange, white elephant, dirty Christmas, Santa thing can be kind of fun and not stressful. But the main point here, stick to a budget. Number 6, again, going over a list from the Mayo Clinic of ways to cope with stress and depression of holidays. Plan ahead. Set aside specific days for shopping, baking, visiting friends, etc. Plan your menus and then make your shopping list. That will then help you prevent last-minute scrambling to buy forgotten ingredients and make sure to line up for party prep and cleanup. And this ties in directly with number 5 of sticking to that budget. So when you go food shopping, stick to your budget. When you go gift shopping, stick to your budget and then plan the times for doing the shopping, the cooking, the baking, etc. Number 7, and this is just good all-around advice for avoiding stress and depression all year long. Learn to say no. Saying yes when you should say no can leave you feeling resentful and overwhelmed. Friends and colleagues will understand if you can't participate in every project or activity. It's not possible to say no when your boss asks you to work overtime, but try to remove something else from your agenda to make up for the lost time. And I believe I've done podcasts on why it's important to learn to say no. Again, just good overall advice. Stay tuned. There's more here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
It is the year 91,001 BCE. Witness humanity's origins in Hyperchronius, a classic role-playing game for Windows PCs, with a story like no other game before. A liberty-oriented experience that is not to be missed. Go to zog.ninja to get your copy of Hyperchronius today. Use the code FPP to get $1 off. Hyperchronius, zog.ninja, code FPP.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerary supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
This is Will Coley of the Call to Freedom, and you're listening to Darryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Going over the list. Not the list of Jericho, rather the list from the Mayo Clinic of 10 ways to cope with holiday stress and depression. We'll get back to the list in just a second. But first, I have a question for you. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you use and promote cryptocurrencies as an alternative in this fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend a Bit in your arsenal. Spend a Bit is a search engine for things you can buy with cryptocurrencies. Spend a Bit has aggregated millions of products from thousands of crypto-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend a Bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you're a crypto-accepting merchant, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. That's spendabit.fppradio.com. That's spend a bit, all one word, spendabit.fppradio.com. So getting back to the list from the Mayo Clinic of 10 ways to cope with stress and depression from the holidays. Again, just a quick recap of the first 7. Acknowledge your feelings. Reach out if you're feeling lonely or isolated. Be realistic about what the holidays are and that things change. Set aside differences with friends and family and coworkers, etc. Number 5, stick to a budget. Number 6, plan ahead. And again, this is specifically talking about planning your time for shopping and baking, etc. So you're not scrambling the last minute of, oh crap, it's Christmas morning and I told my friends that I would bring a dessert to that potluck and I totally forgot to pick something up 2 days ago. I hope something is open. Let me go see what I can find at the very last minute. And number 7 is learn to say no. So if you can't actually wind up making a dessert, then don't say you're going to make a dessert. But more importantly, if you can't attend a party or something else, then don't tell your friends that you can make it. And then at the last minute, oh, right, I had that other thing. Sorry. Number 8, don't abandon healthy habits. Don't let the holidays become a free-for-all. Overindulgences only add to your stress and guilt. And then below that, they say, try this. Have a healthy snack before holiday parties so that you don't go overboard on sweets, cheese, and drinks. Make sure you still get plenty of sleep. Now, this is not saying oversleep, but a lot of times people will stay out too late and then, oh, well, I've got to wake up early in the morning, and then they just undersleep. So, again, make sure that you get the appropriate amount of sleep and incorporate regular physical activity into each day. And maybe if there's a, Santa Jingle 5K somewhere nearby, go participate. If there's a New Year's 5K, 10K somewhere nearby, and it's, say, starting at 11 o'clock instead of 6 a.m. like a lot of races do, then maybe go participate, assuming that you're somebody that winds up enjoying a 5K or a 10K. But the point is, don't just wind up allowing the holidays to be an excuse to just wind up, screw this weight loss thing that I've been working really hard on for, however long you've been working really hard on it. Number 9, take a breather. Make some time for yourself. Spending just 15 minutes alone without distractions may refresh you enough to handle everything you need to do. Find something that reduces stress by clearing your mind, slowing your breathing, and restoring your inner calm. Some options may include taking a walk at night and just stargazing, listening to some soothing music, getting a massage, reading a book, or as one of the articles that I was hoping to get to, but there will not be time here, they mention doing some yoga, just 20 minutes of yoga. And I know that sounds like a lot of time, but it's really not. And again, I will post that link in the show notes to where you can read it at your leisure, since I will not be able to get to it in the episode. Continuing on number 10, if you need, and this is not saying that everybody needs it, and it's not saying that nobody does, but if you have done the first 9 and you are still feeling depressed or stressed, it's okay to seek help. Despite your best efforts, you may find yourself feeling persistently sad, anxious, plagued by physical complaints, unable to sleep, irritable, hopeless, etc. If these feelings last for a while, talk to your doctor or go see a therapist. And again, it's a valid thing. There's a lot of people that will say that, mental stuff, just think happy thoughts and then they go away. But that doesn't necessarily work. It's okay. If you need to see a therapist, it's okay to go see a therapist, because your mental health is very, very important. Not just around the holidays, but all the time. Stay tuned. There's more here on Peace, Love, and Liberty Radio online at fppradio.com.
Coinbase is a simple and secure online Bitcoin wallet for sending, receiving, and storing Bitcoin. Coinbase also allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin using a bank account or use their tools to accept Bitcoin as a merchant. Coinbase has more than 1 million consumer wallets and is trusted by over 25,000 merchants, including Overstock.com, Khan Academy, Reddit, and of course, FPP. Get started at coinbase.fppradio.com. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. So, I just went over a list from the Mayo Clinic of 10 ways for coping with stress and depression, and number 10 was if you need to, see a therapist. Now, I've got another article that in no way is intended to replace that advice, but rather to supplement that advice, where a psychotherapist was asked to share her strategies for remaining calm in stressful situations. Now, I'm going to go through this rather quickly as time is now limited on the show. And again, as always, the link will be in the show notes. So there are, again, 10 pieces of advice here. And again, going through very quickly. Number 1, slow down. Make a conscious effort to slow down everything. Talk slower, walk slower, eat slower, breathe slower. Not going to read the rest of the article or the paragraph here so that I can skip to number 2. But again, link will be in the show notes. Take a break. Do head clearing transitions. They do go into detail, somewhat detail of what that is. Number 4, very important. Again, not just for dealing with stress, but just overall, do one thing at a time. Stop trying to multitask all the time. Number 5, be consistent with your self-care. When people get stressed and anxious, paradoxically, there's a tendency to neglect self-care as a way of saving time and energy. Don't do that. Number 6, respond instead of reacting. And again, they explain what they mean here. Link will be in the show notes. Number 7, stay present. Number 8, be kind. Kindness is to calmness what love is to caring. Number 9, protect your peace bubble. Imagine you have a peace bubble enveloping your body. Your number 1 task each day is to protect it from outside threats. And number 10, for strategies, this from a psychotherapist, strategies for remaining calm in times of stress, limit exposure to the news. I know, it seems obvious because basically all the news you see on the TV and here on the radio is bad news, so just limit it. I'll be back on Friday answering your questions. Send those over ama.fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.